It's Megan, and I'm going to teach you how to make chocolate pudding with my magic mix. Okay, so here we go. Now, in the original recipe, you need a cup of magic mix, which is what we're still going to use. Okay, because the recipe hasn't changed; it's mostly the same. Okay, so I would think that's a cup. Especially since some stood in the cup because I had to wash it. You're going to add a quarter cup of sugar. Quarter cup of sugar. Just regular old white sugar, and I put mine in a coffee can in a Ziploc bag. Because I spent so much money on this coffee, I don't want to throw away the can. So here's a quarter cup of sugar. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of Dutch processed cocoa powder that I got at Emergency Essentials, which I have in a Ziploc as well. 2, 3, 4. And if you like it extra chocolatey, you can also use chocolate chunks, or if you don't have powdered chocolate, you can use semi-sweet chocolates. You're going to heat this up on the stove anyway. If you're going to make it and store it, then I suggest that you do not use vanilla, liquid vanilla, which is what we need to use in this recipe, but I'm not going to use this. I have vanilla powder. And this is a try me can. And since I've only tried it once, I'm going to put it back in again because I happen to like it. So, 1 teaspoon of vanilla powder. Okay. Now, you can take this and you can store it in a bag. You can vacuum seal it in a bag, and you can make pudding whenever someone's coming over and you have very short notice and you want to just make it quick. Or you can just, mix it up like I just did using the magic mix. And so I'm going to add water to this, and then all we're going to do is heat it on the stove until it gets a little thick, and then we're going to pour it into my ramekins, which I already have available. I'm just going to get some plastic because I don't want a skin to form on my chocolate. And I just use these little sandwich bags. I get a whole box at the dollar store. It doesn't matter. They're for sandwiches and whatever else you use them for, which is what I'm using it for right now. So we're going to get 2 1/4 cups of water because the recipe calls for 2 cups of water. However, I use 2 1/4 cups because the 1/4 cup will rehydrate a lot of the dehydrated butter and milk that I've added. Okay, so that's 2 and just a 1/4 cup of that. Okay, and so we're going to mix it on the stove on a medium-low heat. Sorry, my stove's a little tricky. And we're going to use a little whisk for this. So, grabbing my whisk, and here we go. Shouldn't take no time. I'm whisking it all so that all the ingredients are fully incorporated, so that we have no lumps. You don't want lumps in your chocolate, folks. I'll try to make this video as short as I possibly can. So I'm just going to keep whisking it on the stove until it gets to a thick consistency. Hey guys, there we go. Took about 3 minutes for it to get to this consistency, which is a lot thicker than we started off. And to show you, I'm gonna move to a spatula. So see how much thicker that is now? And so you don't want to stop stirring, because if you stop stirring, it will just create lumps. So I'm going to keep stirring it until, ooh, a little left over, until it gets as thick as I need it to get. And I'm going to lower the heat here and just keep stirring it. So with the last little bit of heat, see, I lowered the heat. See how thick it got? It's almost... If you know anything about soap and tracing, it's almost tracing just like soap. You can see where the spatula has been in the pudding, okay? Just like when soap gets to the consistency you need it to pour, it shows where the stir has been. I would think that this is thick enough, so I'm going to start pouring it into my ramekins. Few seconds. Yep. So there we go. Turning off the stove. And here we go. So here is the pour. And you can see that it's thickened up substantially. Okay. And you want to pour it as fast as you can. And then get the plastics on top, because this thing starts to set up fairly quick. Okay. I had 6 ramekins out. I guess last time I didn't fill them. I filled them about halfway. So there's your pudding. And here are the plastics that I'm going to put. And this is just so that the pudding doesn't form a nasty skin. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. And then you put these in your fridge. And if it takes you about an hour to cook dinner, then in an hour you're having pudding. If you'd like to store it in the fridge for tomorrow, you can do that. You can also pour the whole thing in a mason jar and put it in your fridge, and I think it'll keep for about 2 weeks. I've actually never had pudding in the refrigerator for 2 weeks. But there you have it.